Okay guys, here we are. We're moving right along on this design. Everything seems to be going as close to according to plan as possible, so I'm feeling good about stuff. I've saved my work. And the next little bit to build on this top piece is the little tabs that stick off on the side here. And those are super duper small little details. So I want to spend some time just kind of understanding how they work and give you guys a couple little tricks on how to build them correctly. Okay, so this is such a small detail that even taking pictures with my phone was difficult because the macro settings on my iPhone are not exactly up to snuff to take such accurate photos. So, I mean, I did my best here. If we go to my email and we take a look at this image, you can see here this little tab is what I'm going to be trying to build. This is a blurry photo, guys. I'm sorry to kind of have to talk to you about it, but just kind of noticing the way that this thing works. The tab sort of starts right at this surface here and goes up from this surface. And then there's even you can't see it in this photo at all, but there's another little kind of inset cube that drops down from this surface and goes down this way. Okay, so we have to build both of those, and they're very specific. And so I'm gonna give it a shot right now, and I'll show you a new trick in SolidWorks. Okay, so here's our model, and like we saw in the photo, the block we're trying to build starts at this surface and goes up. I showed you guys before how you're able to start a sketch on a surface, and you can just draw it directly on your model and go up from there. Okay, but another way to handle this is to actually make a custom plane that sits right at this surface. And that's a little bit better option for us, because if we put a plane that's sitting right at this surface, we can go up to create the little tab that's there, and we can also go down from there as well. Okay, so I'm going to go to reference geometry. I'm going to go to plane. This plane dialog box is going to come up, and then I'm just going to click on my top surface right here. Okay, all right, so over here in the first reference panel, there's some options, and one of them says coincident. And so we're going to hit coincident, and remember what coincident means. It means touching. So two coincident points means you bring 2 points to touch together. If you hit the coincident button here, it'll just allow this surface to touch this, or sorry, this plane to touch this surface. So I'll hit coincident, and it's just going to put a plane right there at that surface. So now I can work directly in that neighborhood. Okay, so I'm going to approve this. There you go. And now I've got a plane I can work off of. So I'm going to start up a sketch on that plane, and I'm going to look normal to the sketch. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of very quickly just sort of block it in here. I think I'll go center rectangle, or maybe corner rectangle. I'm not quite sure. Let's see here. Also notice how when I hover over this edge here, it gives me the center point. Okay, so that's a good thing to know. I might just want to actually use center rectangle, hover over that center point, and then just click out a little. Okay, now I'm just eyeballing it here. That's feeling a little bit inaccurate, so maybe it's time to maybe just show this top view, kind of take a look at what I'm trying to build. Excuse me as I fly around here. Okay, and you can see that little tab kind of sitting there, sitting pretty. And again, my model's a little bit off from the image, so I'm just going to try to get as close as possible. Okay, maybe I'll just give a quick little measurement with my calipers to get a width, and I've got 2.54 as the width on this thing, so I'll just grab my smart dimension tool and escape. There we go. Grab this here and go. Look at how close I was. 2.53. 2.54. 2.54. My computer's not liking the 2. Excuse me. I'm so sorry about this 2. Wow, something's weird with my computer. The 2, if I hit 2. 0.54. Alright, well, I'll take that. If that's the best it's going to do, I'll try it over here. 2.54. Maybe my number locks button is off. I don't know what's going on. 2.54. That was it. Numbers locked. Okay. All right then, folks. Now I'm drawing off the center line. I know I've got to go out at least that much. Let me give another little measurement from the wall outward. Looks like it sticks out about 1.5 millimeters. Okay. So what I'll do here is I'll put a dimension from this line to this line. All right. And then I'm just going to set that to 1.5, and we'll see how that looks. There you go. That sticks out quite a bit, so I'm just going to back that off a little bit. 1.25. There you go. That's a little bit closer. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is just do a nice little extrusion up from there. Okay, and then I'm just remembering how SolidWorks operates. Anything that overlaps will be absorbed into the model. So I'm basically just, that's why I'm taking the measurement from this wall outward, because I know that all of this interior stuff is going to get absorbed into the model. So I'm going to do a quick little boss extrude. The height of that tab is something I need to determine. It is crazy small. It's like, I don't know, it says 1.5 again. Why don't we just set it to 1 and call it. Okay. And there we go. So that's that tab sitting there just like that. Okay. Time to turn the top view image off because it's just throwing my orientation around. Now it's a much smoother orientation. Okay. And now from this point, I've got the option to, again, use this custom plane that I created to create the little drop down that's going to go here. So I'm actually just going to right click on that plane, start up a sketch, hit normal 2. I'm going to look at wireframe mode here so I can see through the model. I'm going to then take a center rectangle, all right, and I'm going to hover over the model and try to find that center line again. There you go. And this measurement here would be so small it would be even difficult for my calipers to figure it out. So I'm just going to eyeball it. There you go. Let's take a look at how that looks. Perfect. Let's get out of wireframe mode. Go back to shaded mode. All right, and then I'll just go down from there with an extruded boss base. Something microscopic. Again, I'm going to eyeball this thing because, you know, my calipers are almost incapable of measuring that small of a measurement. So I'm going to set it to like 0.25 of a millimeter, maybe even 1/8 of a millimeter. And then I have to reverse the direction of the boss extrude. So I'll do that with this button here, reverse direction. And it's just going to go down from there. All right. And I'm going to approve that like that. There you go. Now you can see this ultra small little detail that's been absorbed into the model. All of it built off of this custom plane that we created that's sticking right to the top of this. Okay, so now recognizing that this is a symmetrical model, I can go ahead and just mirror that across the right plane because I know I've got the right plane sitting right in the center of my model. So I'll hit the mirror button. It's going to take the right plane as the mirror plane, and then features will be this guy and this guy. And it'll mirror that right across to that side. Perfectly symmetrical model. Okay, approve that. And there you go. All right. So this top surface of the model is now pretty much done. The only thing that's looking a little bit off to me is just the height of this extrusion here. So I may want to just go back to that piece there and just drop that down a little bit. Just visually, I kind of don't like it. So I'm going to, you know, use my powers as a designer to make the decision to just change it. No big deal. I'll just take my mouse and I'll just hover over my mouse or my design tree here and watch as SolidWorks kind of reveals what each of these features is in the tree. So as I go over this boss extrude here, you can see that highlights in orange. I know that's the boss extrude for that. So I'm just going to edit that feature. it's going to bring me back in time to this boss extrude that came up from this surface, and I'll just set it to maybe 3.5. Everything else will update based off of that. Very good. Okay. So there you go, guys. All right. So I'm going to actually shut down the video series here because I've got a good, I don't know, 40 minutes of video on this build so far. And I think I've covered quite a few new techniques that I'd like you to try out on your own for homework over the weekend. Okay. So if we can all come to class with this piece built completely, or at least as close as you can get to it, I think that'd be a good place to be. Now you'll notice that there's some letters and numbers on the bottom. Don't worry about that. If you do want to give it a shot, you can go here to the sketch tab, and there is the text sketch tool, and that would be how you apply that. But you get the gist of the project, right? We're measuring the part. We're using images as references, all right? We're also building off of the surface of our model instead of using planes. That's a big tip right there. And then we're also creating custom planes to allow us access to various parts of the model and various build strategies. Okay, so give it a try. Email me your progress. Email me if you have any questions. All right, definitely watch these videos over and over again if you can handle it. I know that they're a little bit dry, but I'm hoping that we can all get back together on Monday with at least this very first part built, and then in class we'll work together to build another one. Okay? All right, guys. Listen, thank you so much again for watching these videos. Thank you so much for giving me a pass on my absence today. Just looking out my window right now, it is raining cats and dogs, but the hillside has not slid down and wiped out anybody's house, so I guess that's good news. All right. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I'll talk to you later.